In this video I want to talk about the browser alerts that a lot of people have been seeing, where it's alerting people that their sites are insecure. Here's a demo. This is my development site, and you can see in the top left hand corner the browser is marking my site as not secure. So why is Google doing that? It's noticed that your site is not encrypted and it's running over a protocol called HTTP. So what it's doing is alerting you and your site visitors that any information they type into your site could potentially be intercepted. Google wants all sites across the internet to be encrypted for security, and a recent browser update started showing this alert. There's an idea in the SEO community that running over HTTPS or the secure version will be a marker for SEO in the future. So it will affect the trust your site visitors have about you and your business, so if they see that alert in their browser when they come to your site. So what is HTTPS? It's a secure protocol, and it enables all traffic from your web browser down to your site's visitors to be encrypted. It stops people intercepting traffic and getting passwords or credit card information, that kind of thing. Google's encouraging all traffic to be encrypted, hence the prompt. So even standard text and non-secure information, it wants everything to be encrypted. It wants to raise the bar in cybersecurity. So how to secure your site? 3 steps to this. You need to get a certificate from your hosting company. You need to make WordPress run over HTTPS, and you need to fix any mixed content issues. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you a demo on how to do all these 3 things, but let's step through them and explain what they are first. First, you need to get a certificate. Your hosting company needs to do this. They will generate a certificate, which is an encryption device, and install it on your web server. The majority use a service called Let's Encrypt, which is free. Others are going to charge you approximately $50 a year for a certificate. There's different types of certificates. Let's Encrypt are a very basic one, and they're good enough for most blog websites. But if you're doing a lot of financial transactions, you might want to buy one of the more expensive certificates, which have a longer key and are harder to decrypt. But Let's Encrypt is good enough for most people, I would say. Then once they've got it installed, you can test it by going to the HTTPS yourdomain.com. Again, I'll show you how to test the certificate when I come to the demo part of this video. Once the certificate is installed, you have to make WordPress run over HTTPS. To do that, go to the settings in your dashboard and then go to the general section. There are 2 places to change the URL, the WordPress address URL and the site address URL. Add HTTPS to the start of both of those domain names. Expect to be logged out at this point. Your cookies will have changed because you're using HTTPS, and it will force you to log back in again. Once you've done that, I recommend you install Force HTTPS. That's a plugin that spots any connections come to the HTTP version of your website and redirects them to the secure version. I'll supply links to that plugin in the comments. Last and probably the hardest part of this process is to fix any mixed content errors. Any scripts or images or plugins that you've got on your site that use the old version, the HTTP version of your site, will return an error. You can use your browser console to see which components are returning those errors. Again, I'll show you that in the demo. And you need to fix them. You can use plugins such as Better Search and Replace, which will check across your database and look for any HTTP versions, and we can replace them with HTTPS. Or you have to go in and manually edit post pages, that kind of thing. So this can be a bit of a chore to do. Also, you might find your theme files have hard-coded URLs in them for images, or sometimes in the style sheets as well. And sometimes older plugins need to be manually edited to fix any HTTP/HTTPS errors. Let's jump over the demo now. My demo site is currently running over HTTP. I'm going to make it run over HTTPS. I'm going to show you how to check the certificate, and I'll fix some mixed content errors. So here's my development site. As you can see, it's marked as not secure. I've had my host, Bluehost, install a certificate on my development site. So if I go to https dev.wpdo.com/neil, it does load. We have some issues. We've got some mixed content errors. So if I click on the I can see that my certificate is valid. It's a Let's Encrypt certificate, and it's valid until later this year. Okay, let's go about setting this up and making it run over HTTPS. So let me get logged in. If we go to Settings, General, let's change this to run over HTTPS. Click on Save, and because we've changed the protocol, you'll notice that we are logged out. Let's just log back in again. So let's go to the front end again. So it's loading up HTTPS now. But if somebody was to come to the HTTP version, that would also load. So what plugin I like to add is something called Force HTTPS. This one here by Little Busy. I'll include a link to that plugin in the comments. Let's get that activated. And now, if we try to go to an insecure version, it redirects it to HTTPS automatically for you. Okay, let's talk about mixed content errors now. So on your browser, if you press F12, if your PC, I'm not sure, is on a Mac, sorry about that, we have this security section. So once you've got it loaded up, refresh your page, and it's going to tell you where the mixed content is. So I've got two issues on this page, and it looks like it's my images that are loaded over HTTP. So it's that one there and this one down here in the background. Two ways we can fix these. We can either manually edit all the pages, or we can use a plugin called Better Search and Replace. Let's try Better Search and Replace first. Again, I'll link to the plugin in the comments section below this video. This one here. Let's activate that. I've already had it installed. So now there's a new option under Tools, Better Search and Replace. Let's go back and get the URL of these images. Now what this does, it enables you to put a search string in there and replace it with something down there and select all your database tables. So what I recommend you do is go for the entire uploads directory. So that means that any images it finds that are stored in uploads will be fixed. So change it to HTTPS like that. So what we're saying is anything in the WP content uploads directory that is served over HTTP, we'll replace it with HTTPS. Select all of those, and we have a dry run option there, but I'm going to uncheck that. And then click on run, and that goes off, checks the database, and searches and replaces. Be careful with this. If you type the wrong URL in there, you're going to break your site and all the images will look a bit weird. So take a backup first before you make any search and replace changes. This takes a little bit of time, so I'm going to pause the video here and we'll come back once the process is complete. So the process took about 10 minutes to complete. It went through all my database tables and made a series of changes. So 674 updates were made. You can see where those updates were made. Find them somewhere. So it looks like it was in my posts tables. Now, not every theme works well with Better Search and Replace, and you'll see that mine is one of those that doesn't work particularly well. So what we need to do is edit the page and make those changes manually. Bit of a pain, I know, but certain themes sort of compress and encrypt the data, so you can't find strings that contain HTTP. Okay, so I'm using Divi theme on this, so I need to edit the background images on my row. So if I reinstall the images from the media library, you'll see it runs over HTTPS. And the other one was, I believe, this one. If you're using any caching plugins, I would recommend you disable them during this process, because the changes will not be noticed. Okay, let's go over to the front end of my site and see what that looks like now. There we go. Everything is secured and looks good. Connection is secure. If we load up the browser console window again, everything is green, everything is cool. Rinse and repeat across the rest of your web pages and fix any mixed content issues you see. Just as a hot tip, widgets are always a pain. They always tend to find, I always find that there's hard-coded HTTPS URLs in widgets. So go to Appearance Widgets and check those over as well. That's probably where you're going to find a lot of the mixed content errors. So that's the end of the demo. Back to the presentation. If you're not too keen on making those changes yourself, I do have a done for you service. I'll make your site run over HTTPS for the cost of $99. So I'll ensure your certificate's working okay, make your site run over HTTPS fix those mixed content errors, and I'll test your site to ensure all pages are loading correctly. If that's of interest, get in touch with me, Neil Matthews, at neilmatthews.co. If you've got any questions, please get in touch. Thanks.